Heart to Hearties. We're doing a Valley Voice editorial today on Villa Amore, the wonderful Passport to Love movie that we got to watch last night on Hallmark with Kevin McGarry and Eloise Mumford, excuse me.
Right.
I'm Marg from San Diego, and I'm joined today by, we didn't determine what order we're going, so just jump in, ladies.
I'm Annette from South Carolina.
I'm Lori from Mobile, Alabama.
And I'm Kim from north of Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
It's good to be back together. We haven't done one of these
Yay!
in a while. It's great. Awesome. Okay. So we have not talked, and so we're going to share our reactions to the movie last night. I might even hold you to a rating of 1 to 10 in various categories. We're going to start with chemistry. So this can be chemistry among friends, chemistry among, romantic interests. What did you think? Starting off with chemistry, what were your thoughts?
First, I'll say I felt the chemistry between Leo and Liara. I really did. It was very sweet.
Yeah.
And their meet cute was sweet with him under the sink doing plumbing. And I just thought it was sweet. I just thought it was sweet chemistry.
Yes.
Would you rate it? What would you rate it?
Oh gosh, on a scale of 1 to 10. Well, see, I like sweet, not I'm not big on that. So I probably rated an 8 or a 9. I liked it.
Yeah, and then when he met her on the country road, like going and when she was walking to the villa, that was quite cute. Like, Liara, what are you doing here? Kind of thing. That was very nice. It was very good between the two of them, and then actually, like, all the pairings seemed to be good, and even the pairing that wasn't supposed to be good chemistry, with Enzo and Nona. I thought that they did really well.
I really, really liked that at the end where where neither one of them could figure out what it was that they were mad about for 30 years.
I was trying to guess, was there a proposal that wasn't made or proposal that was turned down? I was like, what is this? And they didn't even know.
Yeah, I was kind of trying to piece it together because didn't he say she'd been mourning her husband for
22 years?
Oh, 22 years. And so I was like, okay, so then that was 8 years before that. Like, okay, like that's interesting. But yeah, and I think at one point, Leo says, nobody holds a grudge like an Italian. A great line. So yeah, I found Kevin McGarry, I found Leo one of the most appealing characters Kevin has ever played. I just loved it. When he picks her up after that breakdown scene, it took my breath away. I was all done.
Yes.
It was so beautiful. So I thought they had great chemistry. I loved him in this part. Come on, Italian Summer with Kevin McGarry. It doesn't get better than that. It was great.
Sure. They were a good pairing. Both of them are very mature as actors. So it doesn't take a lot of emoting to get that emotion across. And I felt they clicked very well. And with the people in their families too, like her mother and her and him and his Nonna, that was precious.
It really was.
Love the Nona. Yeah, I don't know how many of the actors were Italian, but I certainly think she must have been. Yeah. I saw on Kevin's Instagram, I think, him talking about how much fun, or maybe it was in one of the articles, him saying how much he'd enjoyed the Italian crew, that was really like a favorite thing for him. But I know that many of the actors were Italian, so anyway, there wasn't like, usually there's a prominent friendship with the main character, but I think it was between her mom and Mia, and it's kind of diffused a little bit. So it really like put all the attention into the relationship, and I just loved that we got to see them together. It was like we really got to see a romance bloom instead of just kiss at the end and then boom, you're done.
Yeah,
You
it wasn't, it was something you could see grow over the time. And you know, I was doing the calculations. How long has she been there? Okay,
Yeah.
she's been there 2 weeks. Okay, she's been there a month. So that was cool to see. It
Yeah,
was growing
her
over time.
countdown.
Yeah, that countdown was helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked how he dropped a little hint. Oh, you better download that app of how long you know, they gave us the breadcrumbs in this film.
Yeah, that countdown app was really good at bringing us back to earth kind of thing. You know, we'd be like, oh, this is great. And then she'd, you know,
Yeah.
something really nice would happen. And then she'd pull out her phone and go, you have 32 days
I
left in the
know.
country. It's like,
Yeah. Okay, so
deflate the balloon.
Lori, you've spent some time in Rome and Italy. Did you feel like you were there? Did you get the
Oh.
Italian summer vibes?
Oh yeah, it made me want to move there.
I didn't
After
know.
moving there, I had a friend of mine came over to watch with me. She's a Hallmarkie. She loves watching all the Hallmark movies. In fact, she went on the last pilgrimage that I went on with my family. She was on that one as well. And they're like, oh, I see that. Oh, I see that. Oh, I see that. And we were trying to figure out where Capena was. And I looked it up, and we probably went by there when we were a CC to Rome. So
Yeah, just north of Rome, right?
Yeah,
little bit,
just a
yeah.
little bit north.
It's an actual town. It's a real
like,
place. It's not a made up Hallmark.
Yeah, it
place.
is. I was surprised to find that on the map. So I'd like to go back and check it out. It looked like a cute little town.
It did. Very medieval kind of town.
It reminded me of a CC in some ways. With
yes.
I mean, the roads are just so here, there, and coming around these sharp corners and everything. Although it wasn't not as high up in the mountains as a CC was. We did a lot of climbing.
Yeah, so the sites we saw in Rome,
Pantheon.
you got the Pantheon. Her hotel room looked out over the Pantheon, which was fantastic. The Trevi Fountain, of course, in full glory. What is the thing that you put your hand into? I can never remember.
Yeah.
We didn't do that.
I didn't do it either. The thing, yeah. And then of course the Spanish Steps.
Yes.
She had her gelato sitting on the Spanish Steps, and
I wasn't sure where it was that he took her when they got, you know, on the highway and they paid the toll and they went out to the water. I wasn't sure where that.
I know.
That looked gorgeous.
That was beautiful, and it was really unclear where that would be. So we need to look that up some more. It was
somewhere out on the ocean there.
Yeah.
The Mediterranean. So
yeah, guys, did you get the summer Italian vibes?
Yeah, totally. I loved how her mother described all the places she was going as she was there. It was just a beautiful way of directing that and filming that with the voiceover. And then Mama occasionally was on the phone and she'd show her a picture. It was a real wonderful connection between the two.
Yeah, I loved her mom. I wanted one like her. It made me miss mine. But you know, because she was such a cheerleader. It's like, you go do that. Don't go without, you know, don't leave without having done that. So that was really wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, from the beginning, she just was like, reframe it, find a different way, you know, reframe it. Hard to do when it's your honeymoon. You're going to Rome for a week. And yes.
That scene when he gets at the hotel and they're trying to get rid of all the honeymoon, the roses. That is hilarious.
It was.
Laugh out loud the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, with the dustbuster trying to get all the
popping the balloons.
Yeah. Oh, when he popped the balloon, it's like, whoa.
And then out on the balcony, just guzzling that champagne.
Right.
I know.
That was, yeah.
Right out of the bottle.
That scene was hysterical. It really, it set the tone, and you knew it was going there, but it still was great. And I thought, you know, the throwing the coins in the Trevi Fountain, that was very cool. I mean, we've seen that. I'm trying to remember what movie that was. That's from like a very famous old.
Oh yeah,
3 coins in the fountain.
Well, there you go. It's 3 coins in the fountain. Yes, exactly. Okay. And who was that?
Oh,
Audrey Hepburn, or it's like
no, that was
Roman.
Roman Holiday. I forget.
Yeah.
Who's in Three.
Oh, okay. Roman Holiday. All right. 3 coins in a fountain is who? Talk amongst yourselves. It is Clifton Webb, Dorothy McGuire.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Do I know who these people are? I don't think I do. But I know we've
I think
seen.
Dorothy McGuire was in Summer Place.
I remember that Lori is a Turner Classics movie person from HFR. We're roommates, and she was like, "Let's turn on the classics." I was like, "Okay, yeah." So you know all your old movies. I love it.
Yeah, I do not. I did not know there was a movie named Three Coins in the Fountain.
It's a good movie.
Okay.
Yeah, those
It's
are.
been a while.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with Italy, there's lots of cliche kinds of things, but I didn't think that. I thought that one hit the right
I
note.
think the thing in the mouth is from Roman Holiday.
yes, it is.
Oh, there you go.
Mhm.
Amazing. Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add about? Oh, I know. One thing I wanted to say was that football scene in the piazza
Right.
was adorable. I wish they'd had a little more time for that because it really was the Hallmark version of the festival, but
Yeah.
so perfect for Italy.
Good point.
I just loved that moment.
Yeah.
And you could tell that's when she really joined their ranks, when they
Yeah.
began to trust her, and it was that turning point of her becoming Italian. I loved that. So
I
that
can
was
relate to that. Southeastern football, the South and the football, yes.
well, I went to my first soccer game here in the United States. Oh my gracious, it is mayhem. I mean, I teach Zumba. I have some stamina. Those people sang and drummed and chanted the entire game. The entire game. They never sat down. I mean, it's like incredible. And there was a lot of security. It was, so there's it's a different world, the football
Yeah,
world
soccer type
Mhm.
of
football, yeah.
Europe. And I got a little taste of it here. It was very cool. So yeah, so
Yeah.
and I got a taste of it last night in the
Mhm.
square. So
Toronto
yeah.
is transformed whenever the World Cup happens. Yeah, and because it's such a melting pot,
Yes.
there's all the different areas of town are rooting for a different team. So it's quite something to see.
All right, moving on. Script and storytelling. Talk amongst yourselves while I look up, because I did write down the name of there's 3 writers. Nick Hopkins, Tim James, and Betsy Morris. They've got a few movies to their credit. And this was produced actually by the actress from, oh geez, Joanna Garcia Swisher.
Sure, that's right.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Oh, what's the
Okay.
name of her show?
The Sweet Magnolias and
Magnolias, thank
Reba.
you.
Oh,
She
Yeah,
was on
so
Reba.
this was
And
their
she did the movie in Ireland
Yes,
with
you did. Yes.
Tom Branson from what's his name? The actor from Downton Abbey.
Oh, I love him. We were just
Yes.
talking about him.
yes.
Remember that movie that they made in Ireland? I love
Mhm,
that.
that's
God,
right.
I
okay.
cannot remember. Why can't I remember his name?
Yeah, so it was directed by Claire Niederpruem. I know I'm butchering that. But yeah, this is her production company's first movie. So that was kind of neat. Yeah.
wow.
That's
Yeah.
Good start.
Yeah, I think a great first movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All the comments I saw were positive.
On the Hallmark page that you saw.
Uh-huh.
Okay, people really liked it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good. What'd you guys
Yeah,
think of
I
the
really
script
liked it.
and the storytelling?
I enjoyed the story. The dialogue I thought was very good. It seemed
Yes.
natural, the dialogue. And at the end, spoiler alert, at the end when she's waiting, getting on the bus, I was going, really? Is she going to go back? I was guessing. I was still guessing at that
Yeah,
point.
so that confused
Right.
me because she pulled up something that said boarding pass. So was she going to the airport to leave?
I think she was having to
Yeah.
head to the Rome airport from Capri.
Oh, okay. All right. And so then she
Had to take that
sees,
bus.
she sees the Capina, Capina
I think
Yeah.
it's
um, bus and goes there
Mhm.
instead. So her first impulsive move. Yeah.
Yeah, but when she was leaving, when her time was up and she had
Oh, yes.
Had
residency,
to leave Capino.
I was still guessing at the end. I was like, really? Are they gonna have her go back? Will he go after her? How are they gonna wrap this up? I was still
Right.
guessing.
Yeah. I loved the unexpected little quips, like when she's talking about being a data analyst and he goes, well, it's not that kind of skill here.
Different skill set.
There
Different.
was a
I
lot of that.
loved that line.
And
So
Me
it-
good.
too.
So
It
good.
was not predictable, even though it was a traditional Hallmark romance. It wasn't all predictable. There
Yeah.
were enough twists and turns that were believable. Like, for example, how could she take 90 days off from work? Well, you forget she had the money to buy a house in Chicago that didn't get bought. So she had that down payment, and her place of work owed her some time off because of her father dying the year before. So
Mhm.
things added up subtly, and it was very believable. And their romance building was also believable. And I just love the way it progressed.
Yeah, usually Hallmark takes us on these flights of fancy and doesn't always fill in the logistics. Like,
Mhm.
and this movie was very clear about the logistics. Like,
Mhm.
he spelled out for her what it was going to mean if she sold this thing or abandoned it. And it was like, you'll get, you won't be able to come back to Europe ever. Like,
That was crazy.
yeah, I mean, like they spelled out the consequences of what would happen. And the other thing I noticed was, you know, they said they dropped a little line of like you have to get a permit to work on the outside of the house.
Mhm.
So it was like he could still be working on the inside without the permit, but the outside, it was like, they just were careful to answer all of the viewers' questions because as we well know from being admins, the Hearties are sticklers for these details.
Yeah.
And our show often doesn't have time to go into a lot of those details.
Yeah.
And this movie was really good about setting the trap in a way that it was very clear what the consequences of everything were.
The
So,
only thing that I was trying to figure out was, that first meeting when he got the phone call from his dad. And he kept turning down those phone calls. And then he took off in a hurry and had
yeah,
a panic attack
Yeah.
truck. I was like, what is so horrible with his dad? I was formulating all sorts of scenarios in my
Yeah.
head. He had ran out on the dad's law practice or something.
I even
we don't
wondered.
entirely know what happened there.
No, it was that they were both concerned about each other. He was worried about his dad, and his dad was worried about him. So
Yeah.
that's what it boiled down to. But man, to see him having that panic attack was, whoa.
But then it was great how he led her through her panic using the same method.
Mhm.
And he
Right.
also
Yeah.
mentioned
That
having
was
gone
cool.
through therapy too. And it
Right.
kind of reminded me of another Elise movie when she was in Ireland. She was taking, I think, bipolar medication, and so she was having
Oh.
crisis too. And she plays
Wow.
that. They know she plays that.
Hallmark goes there. Wow.
Good
So
for
it
them.
was really good.
Amazing. I didn't know that. I thought it was, yeah, I was impressed. I was like, oh, we're going to talk about anxiety. Wow, amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was very neat.
Yeah. And I loved
Yeah.
the way he did it. I mean, it wasn't over, it was just like he clearly was having a panic attack
Yeah.
and trees, sky, grass,
Mhm.
whatever it was.
Birds.
Got her
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was really
exactly.
good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So this was one of the movies that had early kisses, like it wasn't just a kiss at the end, and I thought that that was very neat, and helped build their relationship. It showed the progression in the relationship, but also it seemed as if they held off somewhat, and he was very respectful of her situation with Kyle and like where are we here? Because I'm not moving forward without knowing for sure. So I thought that was neat. One of the other things that I thought was very intriguing or interesting was the outsider vibe, the whole thing with Teresa, the postal worker, and then with Mia and her husband as well. At the beginning they were like, oh, you're an outsider, we're not even going to talk to you. And then them becoming almost BFFs, right? Like my gotcha girlfriend
Very
or
Hallmark.
whatever. So yeah. So I thought those were good touches added to it as well. And one thing that I kind of laughed about was that how many planes did she miss home? Right? Like she was going home and then she changed her flight and then she was going home again and then she stayed. And I kind of laughed at because this happens a lot on Hallmark movies. And I was like, okay, if I'm ever on a transatlantic flight and there's an empty seat, I'm going to go, oh, this was somebody that that was in a Hallmark movie.
Yep.
Yes, they don't think too much about those flight change fees and all the,
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. An hour before the flight.
Yeah.
Nothing.
This was not, I mean, it wasn't, I don't have a lot of notes of like monologues that were particularly stirring or lines that really stood out to me. I just thought it just was a great job. It was, the story just held up really well. And, I think that breakdown scene, I just loved that scene, where she falls from the ladder and she's just like, she's such a mess. Because that was my reaction early on, was like, she's sleeping there? She's staying there?
It's like, don't get under that
There's
blanket.
no
Oh,
clothes. Like,
right?
what is happening? Because that is just so true of a breakdown that you just say, like, I want to condition my hair. I want to shower. I miss my dad. Like, it's just
Yeah.
you're blurting it all out. And
I was trying to figure out where he was taking her when and like you, when he swooped her up, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes. He did it so easily.
I know. And
big arms, Kevin.
And I was like, where is he taking her? Is he taking her to a doctor? What is he taking? And he took
Yeah.
her a shower.
How bad is
Yeah,
that?
that's what she wanted.
The shower of the gods.
Oh,
Oh.
That was adorable.
And when when they were talking with those two old gentlemen,
yes.
plumbers, whatever, trying to get them to
Lay
do the
tile.
shower for the bathroom for her, that scene was so cute. I loved that.
Well, that's where I've got to give a nod to the cinematographer. I can't speak today. Because there was an earlier scene where she was talking to her mom on the phone in Nona's shop, and the two guys were playing cards like in the forefront, and it was a great shot, and they were just so classic Italian men, sitting there in the cafe playing. And so when they closed the loop by having those guys be the reluctant plumbers, it was like, or tile guys or whatever they were.
Right.
Unbelievable.
And they wouldn't do it until they realized that he had fallen for her. And that
there was love involved.
Cute.
Mhm.
Yeah, darling.
That was
Absolutely
neat.
darling. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, were there any other lines that we wanted to bring up, or anything to the writing piece of it?
I will say, I knew that in some way she was going to have to be there when Mia went into labor. I was like, she's going to be there. Something's going to happen.
I did not see that coming. Wow.
I saw that one coming. And when Marco said he was going to be out of town, I was like, oh, something's happening.
Yeah.
He's coming.
Right.
Yeah. Hilarious how they, I did not know that Italians swore at the
toll box.
booth.
No idea either.
Pasta.
Yeah, that was hysterical. And I love when she has to drive her, and she's like, I haven't driven in Italy, which would be my worst nightmare, driving in Italy.
Right.
And Mia says, just believe everyone else is an idiot. And she says, sounds a lot like Chicago.
Oh God.
Same thing. Yeah, that was darling.
And then she forgot to set the brake. at the
I'm
hospital.
sorry.
She forgot to
Oh.
set the brake at the hospital. Whoa.
Yes, and the car starts rolling in front of the. But those guys were awfully slow to even come help.
Oh, yeah.
Really could have used a little more help from the hospital foreman, whatever they were. I liked the flirting in this a lot. I thought they did a great job with the writing, how they were like, you're cheating on my villa. And he's like, I rewinded a couple times. He says something like, it's just a clock sync. I didn't really
It's just
understand.
a fling.
He did
just
say,
a
then
fling.
he goes on to say, it's a fling. It means nothing to me.
Yes.
It means nothing to me, I
That
swear.
was so cute.
That was really, really cute. And there were a number of those. We haven't even talked about the donkey, about
Oh,
Baci.
Baci. I
how
know.
adorable. I
Yeah.
just read this morning it was supposed to be a goat originally.
Oh,
Oh,
Is
No.
is
okay.
it bad of me that I wanted Baci to give Kyle a little?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Lori.
yeah.
That's fantastic.
I mean,
You
Kyle
should
is
be a
jerk.
director.
Right.
I wanted Baci just to
him
give him a
off.
little. No, I didn't want him to hurt him. I just wanted to give him a little
Yeah,
nudge, like get
just
away
a
from my
nibble.
mom.
Oh,
side
you
swipe
look-
them or something. Yeah.
hysterical. That's good. Darn, I wish we'd
But
seen that.
can
But
I
it
say
was
something
ahead.
about that scene when Kyle showed up? The thing that, in a lot of Hallmark movies, the guy crumbles like a house of cards when the old boyfriend or the
Yeah.
he stood up for her.
Right.
That was something different. I was like, whoa. He stood
Love
up for he
that.
was ready to go after Kyle.
Loved it.
I loved that.
Yeah.
She
Yeah, that
didn't
was so
satisfy
good. You're right.
That was
Yeah.
so good.
I also really liked that they had all the mail in the big box that Teresa brought, all
Yeah,
the
right.
mail that had been sent there since the house had been abandoned. And you knew that was going to figure in somehow, but it was just sweet how they're going through it together with and throwing the ones in the fire. I loved it. I just loved it.
About that, I loved how she kind of dismissed her dad just a little bit as someone who doesn't follow
Yeah.
through. And then she found the letter and he
Isn't
did
that
follow
nice?
through.
Yeah, it redeemed that he just
Mhm.
ran out of time. And that of course plays to the whole impulsiveness that like
Yeah.
life is short. Life is short. Go to Rome,
Yes,
do the
yes.
thing, stay in
Yeah,
Rome.
like
Eat
your
the
mom
gelato,
said
drink
at the
the
beginning.
champagne.
Right. Biggest mistake is thinking we have time.
I
Yeah.
love that line.
That was right at the beginning.
Yeah.
So,
I took that.
you guys need to teach me about deep dish Chicago pizza. Is the cheese really underneath the sauce?
Mhm.
Is
Is
that
it?
right? I know that's true when you look at it. Yes,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
that would go against.
Okay.
There's
mean,
a couple, they're on Instagram, they're on TikTok, where it's an American woman who married an Italian guy and he moved here, and they're constantly playing with their riff is about like the Italian customs as opposed to the American customs, and like that whole thing of breaking the pasta in half before
yeah,
Oh yeah.
that was cute.
forbidden. Absolutely. So I love that.
I do it.
Yeah, that little banter between them of,
That was
she
hilarious.
knew better, but I thought they did it in a really original way. So
Mhm.
yeah.
And how many others were like wanting to just pick up that deep dish Chicago pizza that she left on the doorstep when she went to Mia's house
Yes.
and
Like,
had to
what'd you
take
do with
Mia
it?
to the hospital, but like it was just gonna go to waste now.
I really
Where is it?
liked the part at the end where he like goes running after her and he's like breathless and he can't get the words out and he's
Yes.
I really need to run more.
Yeah.
So good. So good. Yeah. It really played to
That's funny.
Kevin's wit. So that was
Yes.
all
Yeah.
right. So something new. We've talked about it a little bit, a departure from the formula. It was pretty formulaic it checked all the boxes, let's put it that
Yeah.
way. But what were the departures for you guys?
Well, like I said, that he stood up for her when Kyle the jerk showed up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like that part a lot.
And the early kiss. And the other thing, I
The
was
early I love you.
Yeah.
Yes, there was that too.
Mhm.
And that the electrician, Maria, was a female. I thought that was really cool that they had, and in a country I feel that is, more traditional in their roles in many ways. So I thought that was very cool. Let's bring in the expert, and that Leo thought that she was the expert in the area. So I thought that was great. Although that they run on Italian time, like when she shows up, the job will
Exactly,
start.
right.
I thought that was fun.
It was Hallmark's travel time, this season right now. And so it offered that, all the beauty of Italy, and it really was Italy. It wasn't anybody standing in for Italy.
No.
Yeah.
And so that was amazing. They did that very, very well.
Mhm.
Did it?
I a few years ago, I went to our kids' school auction with some friends, and we'd had like all sorts of car trouble with both of the cars that week. So like Duke and I, as we were headed into the auction, we're like, we are not bidding on anything. We are not bidding on anything, And then we got in there, and of course we had a couple drinks, and we're sitting there, and like suddenly the paddle goes up for the Italian villa. The Italian villa. Yeah, with the people at the table, we're all like, the Italian villa. Yes, okay, we're going in. And we won the Italian villa with everyone at the table. We all went in on it together, and we didn't really know each other that well, and ended up there, and it was like, how's this gonna go? And we had the most amazing time. And I say that because the thing that I learned about from that vacation is there was a balance between time in the villa and then time exploring. In this case, it was Assisi, it was Florence, it was, all of the little towns around there, Perugia and stuff. But like you wanted to make sure you had enough time in the villa. And that's what I loved about this movie is that you got the feeling of what it is to live in a small Italian town, and these towns that are kind of dying because young people don't want to stay there. And so in that regard, it was very much the classic Hallmark feeling of these rural places and all their charms, and why young people, leave and then come back. So it was very formulaic. But again, as we've talked about, it wasn't we actually got to see them together and got to see their romance develop a little bit, which we're usually, although now I want a sequel. So
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't marry them off at the end. So maybe we could get a little more.
Yeah.
Did it remind any of y'all? There were some moments there where it reminded me of Under the Tuscan Sun.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
There were
And
some
how
nods
much
in there to that, I thought.
how much fun the production team. I mean, when they first arrived, that place was it was
Yeah.
it was
I
trash.
was thinking of that.
It was
I
trash.
wondered, was it truly trashed, or did they trash it and then fix it back up?
Well, that's what
I'd
I'm
love to
saying
know
is
that.
that's probably, unless they had an entirely different location,
Yeah,
because
true.
the interior looked really bad.
Yeah.
Although the paint did not look 25-year-old paint, nor
Okay,
did the
all right. So
or
I
And
the
the
have to watch
wallpaper
again.
was not
Okay, I have
falling
to
off
watch
the
again.
walls.
it was
Yeah.
like a little sweeping and fixing the shingles, and we're good.
Man,
Yeah.
all the windows were out, the curtains are flapping out the
Right?
windows. Oh,
It was something. It was something.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. All the feels. Did you laugh? Did you cry? Did you get goosebumps?
Yes.
Absolutely.
It was exciting, just right from the beginning, to laugh and to know I'm in for a good time here.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I laughed out
Yeah.
loud at the beginning with the whole honeymoon thing. That was really funny. I can't say that I cried, but I did. There were moments where I was like, "Oh, I love this. Oh, I love this."
I
So
cried twice.
you cried twice.
Yeah.
Now I feel like a hard
Yeah.
woman.
No, I
No,
think maybe who knows? It could just be hormones. But I cried during her little breakdown.
Yeah.
I totally cried then, and then I cried when Mia said, "You got me, girlfriend," or whatever.
Oh, that-
Yeah.
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 Well,
At the
those were
birth, I
old
cried
moments. I
then.
wasn't.
Yeah, you
like
got
crying.
me. Just the way
Yeah,
she
those-
said it was
It was
really
very sweet.
It was very
Yeah.
sweet. Yeah.
It was funny how everyone would misunderstand all those little cliches that she would say from America. And like, what? And then she taught them. That was sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did think that one where he's yelling after Nona, like, you have a terrible poker face. Like, she didn't know what that means, like,
Yeah.
whatever, but it was
Uh,
cute. Yeah.
And is my accent really that bad?
Oh,
I love that. No,
Yeah.
and
Still
and-
that
and
bad. Still that bad. That's what it
Annette, you were
was.
saying you thought you maybe heard, because he was supposed to be from Boston. You thought you might heard a little.
Mhm.
I heard a little Boston twang, just a little bit. And I thought that was a funny Easter egg because he was Boston in the wedding veil. And
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
played that up so much, and especially at the end when Lacey's character says, I love his Boston accent. And he dies.
Yeah, nice.
I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, his Italian I thought was pretty good, even
Yeah.
though he didn't have a good Italian accent.
No, it was very good. He got
Mhm.
that
Yeah. It was-
Strofiatella. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah,
I still don't know that.
yeah. I really loved that. You standing up for me was one of the top 5 moments of my life. Yeah, that was a
Mm.
goosebump. That was a goosebump moment,
Very
as you
sweet.
said, Lori. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So overall, let's rank it of
Mm.
all of the Hallmark. I don't know if we can compare it with Christmas movies
Oh,
because it's
Yeah,
so,
I'm
Yeah,
gonna keep
but
Christmas out of there.
Oh,
but for a Hallmark movie, we're not disagreeing about anything, Kim.
Mm.
No,
Like you're
no,
really
we're
our
not.
stickler
I'm
here.
good.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you're solid.
I you know
This-
what? The only thing I had to pick on was her bicycle, because I was like, that bicycle was not green at the beginning.
Oh,
It changed
And so
color.
I actually went back and looked, and it was like very brown when she first drove it into town. And I was like, oh, as if it, like
think it
this
was a different
abandoned
bike or
location. Well, and the tires didn't even need to be
Uh-oh.
pumped up. So I was like, as if, okay, suspend belief, suspend belief, suspend belief. But then
yeah.
later on, I'm like, wow, that's really bright green. And I
I
actually
don't know
went
how
back
you
today
make
and
it
looked.
through any Hallmark movie. I don't. I honestly
didn't
don't.
notice all. I wondered where she got the bicycle. I was like, well, she must have
Yeah.
found it here, and I didn't.
Maybe
Yep,
it was
me too.
Get past
But I
that.
was like, oh, there's no way
Maybe
it
it
would have
was,
worked. But
Ned Yost's rent a bike in front of the mercantile.
good
good.
point in that. Oh, absolutely.
Maybe
Yeah.
it was just the lighting on the given day or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he did give
well,
her some paint, but it was blue.
she might have used some crud cutter on it and got the old grime off of it, and that's when it got brighter. But we'll go
All
with
right,
that.
we're delaying the process. Give me a number.
Yeah.
Give me
I'm
a
going
number.
with
9 for me.
It's a
yeah.
solid 9 for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, I'll go with a
It's
9.
way up there. It's very good. It was very good.
Mhm.
I can't wait to watch it again.
Yeah.
Kevin, phenomenal job. Now I have to watch everything that Eloise is in. It's Eloise.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
Yeah.
love her.
she is that good.
I'm an
yeah.
Eloise fan, yeah.
I love her
And
hair.
this
What have you seen-
solidified
What
it.
have you seen
Yeah.
in her, Kim? Seen her in?
The Christmas one she was in as a veteran.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh.
Yeah, and she had a dog, and
Oh yes.
That's been
Yeah.
That's been several years ago, wasn't it?
it is. Yeah, it's like 2018 or something like that. But I think I've watched it probably 4 times.
Well, she's just beautiful. My
I
God.
love
She
her hair.
is.
I love
So
her
do
hair.
I. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And she had to
yeah.
kind
Like in the first
kind of had
scene.
to rough it the first, yeah. And then they really, they were darling. Yeah. So
Yeah, when she was with the realtor, her hair, like at the very beginning, when she was all put together as a professional in Chicago, I was like, oh my gosh, I love her hair.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then later, of course, too, even when it was, not conditioned.
I will
It was
say with
still
Kevin
good.
riding around in that pickup truck, I was like, where'd they find a pickup truck in Italy?
Oh.
'Cause I don't remember
Oh.
seeing.
yeah, a big
He's
pickup
all-
truck because you'll see
Yeah.
trucks, but they're tiny.
Little
in
teeny
Italy.
tiny thing.
Yeah,
He
no,
probably
that's a
had it
great-
imported.
So they had to go truer to the American formula there because
Yeah.
Guy you know, you want a hunky guy in a little truck, that just doesn't work.
He's too tall for a little
Kevin,
truck.
as tall as he is,
Yeah.
probably wouldn't fit in those little bitty trucks.
Oh,
His
but
knees would be
what's
up here
fun,
just
I mean,
while he's trying
and
to drive.
we interviewed him, you know, I mean, like he left right when filming was, wait, is that right? No, right? When did he film this? Right when the season was airing, right at the end of the
Oh.
season was airing, he filmed this. So,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, because
This
remember,
year.
yeah, he was doing interviews from Italy about
Right.
uh,
When
Oh.
comes to her.
about the season ending. And
Yeah.
yeah, so there you go. Yeah.
Wow.
Very fun.
Oh, okay. Earlier this spring. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
earlier this spring. Yeah,
Wow.
I was wrong about filming. I was like,
Mhm.
I mean, who can keep track at this point with a January airing of the show? Like everything is like
Yes.
Mhm.
my calendar is completely off. So anyway, filming, I saw on Instagram this morning, Erin's in Vancouver already. It looks like she
Wow.
might be filming a Christmas movie and people are guessing that it's Tyler Hines because he's up
Ooh.
there filming a Christmas movie right now too.
Oh.
Good guess
wow.
then.
So we didn't get the plane selfie.
Oh, she'll probably post it. She'll post it at some point.
But what I'm saying is she's already there.
Yeah, but sometimes she
She'll
posts
say-
it after.
So maybe she's gonna, what I'm saying is, I don't know, she's filming a movie, so I don't know if she's
You
coming
might go back.
and then, yeah, going there. So, yeah.
She
There may be a
should be
tax
getting her
bill.
We haven't
costume
seen her
fitting
fitting
soon, too.
photos. Yeah.
We should be getting those soon too.
Yeah, so Hearties, tune in. We've got a lot coming up in the next couple weeks. We're going to be talking to Melanie and Wendy McKennis next week
Yay.
about, well, first of all, about the invasion of season 13, which is soon to be upon them, and then the invasion of the Hearties for the Hearties family reunion on their property, and the mini invasions. They've had some great events at locality and at Jamestown. So we're eager to catch up with Melanie and Wendy. And then we're also going to be interviewing Denise, Jaden, Jessica, and Melanie about being non-speaking actors, which is something
Oh, that's so
we've done
cool.
for a long time. So looking forward to it. Any further things you guys want to say about When Calls the Heart, Hearties?
Can't wait for those behind the scenes now.
I know. All happening. Okay. So we'll see you soon, Hearties. Thanks so much for tuning in. This has been Heart to Hearties. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.